When it comes to shooting in NBA 2K25, a lot of people have been struggling, and if that is the case for you, then you came to the right video. By the end of this video, you are going to go from shooting nothing but bricks to shooting nothing but greens. I'll be going over ways that you can raise your green window, the reason that most people are missing, the quickest method to get your hot zones and your lethal zones, along with the best jump shot for every single height and 3-point rating. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into the video. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the best shot timing profile to go with. So if you don't know what this is, basically low risk reward gives you a small green window, but it allows you to make whites. Normal risk reward is in the middle of the two, and high risk reward gives you no ability to make whites, but you get the biggest green window. So I know a lot of y'all probably like the sound of being able to make whites, but the thing is, when you take into account that high risk reward gives you the biggest possible green window, rather than putting it on low risk or normal risk reward where you get a smaller green window. And yes, if you do miss time, you do have a chance for it to go in anyway, but you're putting it in 2K's hands at that point. If you put it on high risk reward, if you time it right, thanks to that big green window, 9 times out of 10 it is gonna go in. I say 9 times out of 10 because the green window is RNG based this year, unfortunately, so sometimes it is out of your hands no matter what, but it's gonna be even more out of your hands if you go low risk or normal risk, so make sure that you put it on high risk reward. By the way, it is also important to note that all of the competitive game modes like stage and proving grounds make you use high risk reward. So if you get used to normal risk reward or low risk reward, when you go into these game modes, you are going to be using high risk reward no matter what. So the next thing that I want to get into is the importance of hot zones. If you do not have your hot zones in NBA 2K25, then this plays a big role in your missed shots. Now the way that hot zones work, there are 4 different zones available. It's a cold spot, which lowers your green window, normal, which has no effect on your green window, hot zones, which boost your green window, and lethal zones, which boost your green window the highest possible. Obviously you want to go for lethal zones because you want that biggest possible boost in your green window. Now in order to get lethal zones, you have to have hot zones in that area first. So first I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all how to get hot zones in every single area. Now getting into the best way to get your hot zones, there are a few different ways that I like to do them. Number 1, you can go to the street ball courts. There are 3 different ones you can go to. For me, he was the easiest person to get open on because when you set a screen on him, he always drops to the paint. Everybody else always plays high on the screen, but when I play him, he always plays low. So whenever you play him, just set a screen, shoot the ball immediately after the screen is set, and you will get your hot zones in no time as long as you keep making your shots in those areas. You might not get them immediately, but they will go up over time. Now method number 1 was probably the fastest way to get your hot zones, and the most efficient way to get your hot zones has to be the my career method. So step 1 in doing this method, you want to turn your game difficulty to rookie. If you do it on anything higher, it is a little bit more difficult to do this method. So once you make sure your game difficulty is on rookie, go to my career, go to play game. Once you get to the arena, you of course want to go ahead and go in and play your game. So when you get into the game, what you want to do, you want to call for a screen. The defender is going to play low, and then you just of course want to shoot it. And since it's on rookie, it is going to be very, very easy to make your shots. Even if you mistime them, your green window is going to be so high that it really doesn't even matter. But now, as you can see, I have all of my hot zones, but of course you want to upgrade those to lethal zones so that you can make the most amount of shots. And there is only one way that you can get lethal zones. It doesn't matter if you shoot 100% in every single zone, you can only do it this way. And that is going to the art of shooting gym. Y'all might remember this from 2K24. Just like 2K24, this is the only way that you can get your lethal zones in NBA 2K25. Before you go into the art of shooting gym, there are a couple things you want to make sure. You want to make sure that your difficulty is on rookie. That way you can have the highest chance to make your shots. Once you get in here, you want to go ahead and go up to lethal shooter, skip this cutscene, and it's going to give you 3 options. You can do 1 zone 1 week, 2 zones 2 weeks, or 3 zones 3 weeks. Now as you can see, the first one's easy, the second one is medium, and the third one is hard. But the third one is hard, but you can get 3 lethal zones, which means you get a huge boost in your green window in 3 zones of your choice. Now if you were a spot up, I recommend going 2 zones 2 weeks and just doing both of your corners. But for me as a guard, I'm going to go with 3 zones 3 weeks. With this one, you have to outscore lethal shooter in a shootout. Lethal zones is really going to help your shooting. So for me, I'm going to pick this one. Like I said though, if you don't know your shot, do not pick this one. And as a guard, I feel like I need to have a lethal in my left wing, the top of the key, and the right wing because that is where I mainly shoot. You don't really need the 2 corners as a guard because normally you're usually going to have a spot up in those corners. But once you pick your zones, you want to go ahead, press triangle to advance. And then as you can see, we are going to have to shoot 10 shots in each zone and outscore him in a shootout. But yeah, on rookie difficulty in here, it is relatively easy to shoot. Okay, he's not missing except for his first shot. But yeah, like I said, it is relatively easy to shoot in here on rookie difficulty. Make sure you don't have it on Hall of Fame or something like that, because it gives you no boosts on Hall of Fame. All it is a roadblock. It doesn't give you any benefit. As you can see, I have gotten my hot zone. Fortunately, I did not get my middle hot zone. That is because we did actually end up tying in the shootout. And I wish I did know that going in, because if y'all didn't already know, whenever you do mess up or you behind in the shootout, what you can do is close app, go back into the shooting gym, and you can reset and just start the challenge over completely. Yeah, keep that in mind whenever you're getting your lethal zones. Okay, so next I want to go ahead and get into the best visual cues to use. Now, there have been a lot of question marks regarding visual cues in NBA 2K25. Now, first I want to go ahead and explain this. The visual cues that can be found in your settings do not impact the visual cues of custom jump shots. They only affect the visual cues of pure jump shots. So if you go buy a jump shot from the animation store, like let's say you go buy like pure Kyrie Irving, then you equip that, that is the only thing that the visual cue from settings will affect. If you make a custom jump shot like the one I have here, it is not affected by the one in settings, and it is only affected by the custom one right here. But what is the most consistent visual cue to use? Now, for me, the most consistent has been push. It also makes your jumper pretty quick, and for me, it produces the lowest amount of speed ups and slowdowns. A lot of people do like to use release, and release is smooth, don't get me wrong, but for me, push is so good. You want to move the arrow just on the little white line for push. But yeah, regardless of what jump shot you have, which by the way, I'm going to be going over the best jump shot for every single height at the end of the video, you just want to make sure that you're using pure push, because it will give the smoothest feel to your jump shot. It will make it pretty fast, and you are going to get the least amount of timings. Now, the next thing that you want to do in order to shoot like a pro in NBA 2K25 is going to be to turn off your shot meter. Now, you do that by going to animations, and then you want to scroll over to customize HUD, and then you want to go to shot meter shots. Now, where it says visibility for shots, you want to make sure that is off. And the reason that you want to turn off your shot meter is because when you turn off your shot meter, you actually get a boost in your green window. And like I said earlier, you need all the boosts in the green window that you can get, and this is a very easy one. With your meter off, it will also allow you to actually learn your jump shot for the jump shot rather than using the meter as a backpack. The next thing that you want to do if you want to be an elite shooter in NBA 2K25 is going to be utilizing rhythm shooting. Now, if y'all don't know what rhythm shooting is, basically rhythm shooting is shooting that is only done with the right stick, and it gives you a huge boost in your green window, way bigger than just shooting with square wood. Now, in order to do rhythm shooting, what you want to do, you want to hold the right stick down, and whenever your shot is at its peak or at the top of its head, like around that range, you want to flick the right stick up. Now, you don't want to do it too fast or too slow. You have to get the tempo down. So like I said, hold the right stick down, and whenever the ball is about to reach its peak, you want to flick the right stick up. And as you can see, I've got tempo excellent and push timing excellent. I recommend going to either my court or the Art of Shooting gym to practice your rhythm shooting. And once you get it down, you are going to be unstoppable. Now, if you want to be an elite shooter in NBA 2K25, another thing that you are going to have to do is to buy these two boosts right here. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is jump shot boosts. What these are going to do is they're, of course, going to boost your jump shot. More specifically, they're going to boost your green window. They're going to make it way easier to shoot. Now, you can get 10 games of shooting boost for 1500 VC. Now, I recommend buying these in bulk. I usually buy around like 40, 50 at a time, because you always need shooting boosts. And the other boosts that you want to buy are Gatorade. Now, Gatorade is going to increase your stamina. Now, the one that I buy is going to be the Gatorade Thirst Quencher, the one in the middle, the green one. But this one right here is a little bit more expensive than the jump shot boost, coming in at 3500 VC for a 10 pack. Now, before I get into the best jump shot for every single height and 3-point rating, I want to go over a few shooting tips that are really going to make a difference. Now, when it comes to shooting off catch, a very common mistake that is made is holding square before the ball is caught. When you do this, especially in 2K25, this is really going to mess up your timing, because you're going to be holding square for such a long time before you get the ball. And in this game, it also takes a little bit to shoot after you catch the ball, unlike previous 2Ks. You could shoot it way sooner. In this 2K, it takes a little bit longer. So instead, what you want to do, you want to wait for your feet to get planted, just like they are right there. Then you want to shoot the ball. I'm going to show y'all one more time. This is what I do for every catch and shoot shot, and it helps me shoot so much better. Feet planted, shoot it. Now, I know that right there looked a little bit slower. That was because I got a gather. I didn't want to shoot a gather, so I waited a little bit longer. If it's just like a normal catch and it doesn't make your feet move all weird, you can, like right there, that was a normal catch. Just shoot it immediately, wait for my feet to get set, and then pull it. You never want to hold square before you get the ball. That is only going to mess up your timing. Now, another thing that is vital to shooting in NBA 2K25, and I mean vital, is going to be to look at your cue when you shoot rather than shooting off timing. And by cue, I mean looking at your hands. Your hands are very vital to look at whenever you're shooting. Me, I use push. What I look for is for my player to start pushing the ball, or the ball to be at its peak. Like, as you can see, it's going to be green every time because I know when that point is in my jump shot. I recommend going to the my court and actually figuring out at what point in your jump shot that point is. This goes for every type of shot: a fade, a hop jumper, a go-to shot. I mean, regardless of what shot you do, you just want to look for the ball to be pushed out of your my player's hand if you're using push. And you really have to learn to look at your hands, because if you get a slowdown and you time it off muscle memory, you're going to miss that no matter what. But if you're looking at your hands and you get a slowdown, you actually have a chance to make it. So yeah, that right there is probably the #1 thing that I don't see people do enough. And it is probably the reason that people are missing in NBA 2K25. It plays a huge role in your shooting. Now, getting into the part of the video that most of y'all are probably here for, and that is the best jump shot for every single height and rating. Now, before we get into the jump shots, I do just want to clarify. Now, since my last jump shot video, I have gotten more of a feel for the game, and I've tested out way more jump shots. And that means that some of the jump shots from that video, I did replace with newer jump shots, which y'all are about to see. Which doesn't mean that the last jump shots were bad. It just means that these right here are better. So for those of y'all that watched that last jump shot video, just keep that in mind. But anyway, getting into 5'7" through 6'4" builds with a low 3-ball, I recommend going Cam Thomas base, release 1 Oscar Robertson, and release 2 Terrence Davis. For the release speed, you want to go max, and then for the animation blending, you want to go 78-22. Getting into the best jump shot for 5'7" through 6'4" builds. For the base, you want to go Cam Thomas. For upper release 1, you want to go Oscar Robertson. Upper release 2, you want to go Malik Beasley. And then for the visual cue, you want to go push. Even if you have like a 98-3 on a small guard, I would highly recommend using this jump shot right here. It is so smooth, so easy to time. So getting into the best jump shot for every height for 6'5" through 6'9" builds. First up, we got low 3-ball 6'5" through 6'9" builds. If you have a low 3-ball, you want to go with Isaiah Collier base, release 1 Oscar Robertson, release 2 Sadiq Bey. You want to go a little bit between set point and push, but a little bit closer to push. Release speed, you want to go max, and then for the blending, you want to go with 60-40. This shot right here is so easy to time, and the fact that you only need a 77 3-ball or midi to get this shot is crazy. And getting into the higher 3-ball or mid-range 6'5" through 6'9" builds, I actually have 2 jump shots, and they're both tied for the best for me. And you only need an 83 3-ball or midi to get this jump shot. Now for the base, you want to go Jarrett Culver, release 1 Oscar Robertson, and upper release 2 Sadiq Bey. For the visual cue, you want to put it right on push. Release speed, you want to go max, and then for the animation blending, you want to go 80%, 20%. Now this shot right here is so smooth. You get an A+ speed and A+ height. I've made so many contesteds with this jump shot. This jump shot would check every single box if you didn't get so many timings. I love this jump shot. It feels so smooth, very easy to time, but you do get a lot of different timings, which is annoying. Other than the timing stability, this jump shot right here is perfect. Now another really good 6'5" through 6'9" jump shot that gave me way less timings is Torian Prince base, release 1 Oscar, and release 2 Oscar. With the visual cue set on push, release speed on max, and the animation blending at 50-50, but it really doesn't matter. Both the releases are the same, so the blending won't have any impact on the jump shot. But this shot right here basically gave me the same shot every single time. Now moving on to 6'10" through 7'3" builds with a low 3-ball. If you have a low 3-ball 6'10" through 7'3" build, I recommend going Jonathan Isaac base, release 1 Alex Lynn, and release 2 Chamizi Metu. The visual cue, you want to go push. For the speed, you want to go 3 out of 4. And then for the blending, you want to go 60-38. Only needing a 78 3-ball for this jump shot. You get a really good release speed, you get a good release height, and the other grades actually aren't bad as well. This shot is very smooth, very easy to time, and an A release height on a 6'10" through 7'3" build is going to be crazy for y'all. Now the best jump shot for 6'10" through 7'3" builds is going to be Jonathan Isaac base, release 1 Jay Huff, and release 2 PJ Tucker. You only need an 81 3-ball for this shot. The visual cue, you want to go a little bit ahead of push. For the release speed, you want to go 3 out of 4, and then for the animation blending, you want to go 40-60. The grades on the shot are really good. You get an A+ release height, A release speed, B defensive immunity, and a C+ timing stability. And this shot is automatic. It is so easy to time. It's so quick. You put this jump shot on your 6'10" through 7'3" build, it's going to be hard to miss. Now I just went over the best shooting tips and the best jump shots for every single height and 3-point rating. If you want to know some tips to get rid of delay on NBA 2K25, go ahead and click the top right. In that video, I go over multiple tips to help you get rid of delay on NBA 2K25 and have a way smoother experience.